What's going on, everybody? This is Deerman. Today I just want to go over the current tier list, starting with the point guards. Before I do that, I just wanted to let everyone know that we have an SBA league going on that me and Tension and a few others have been running for about a month now. Right now, we're about halfway through the first season. We have about 150 people in the server. There's 8 teams of 7. We play a game every couple of days in there. Hopefully by the end of this playoffs we can start a second season with a prize pool, and we're hoping to have more teams in there. So if you're interested playing or watching the current games, please click the link at the bottom of the video. Thank you. Okay, so with the point guards, I don't think any of these point guards are bad. I think all the characters in this game are pretty viable except for one or two. But obviously there's some point guards that are just way better than others. I'll start off in alphabetical order. Albert, I believe he is an S rank. He's just a really fast point guard. He has the ability to choose who he passes to. He has a pinpoint pass. He has decent 3-point shooting. And he also has the floater, so with his 3-point shooting and his floater, he can kind of space the floor. He's very good off the pick and roll. He's good with inside SF scorers or dunkers. He's got that alley-oop layup pass, so he can kind of help on offense. I think he's pretty good. His weakness is that he's kind of short, so other taller point guards will get the dive over him. He also has really low dribble, so I've had some games where a Nico or Justin or something will just one swipe and steal the ball immediately. Other than that, I think he's pretty solid. He just struggles with holding the ball too long. Great with inside scorers. I wouldn't really recommend playing with him with shooters. I see some people kind of use his inside scoring. I think he's better off with dunkers or characters like that, but yeah, I think he's still pretty solid. Not the best point guard, but definitely a good choice if you're running an inside scorer. Next up we have Boa. I'll put it S rank. I think Boa is probably the best defensive point guard in the game. She's very fast. She has pinpoint pass, which can't get intercepted. And she's very tall for a point guard, which helps on defense and to help win dives. She's probably the best counter to pick and roll point guard strategies. So you're playing against a Queen and a Nana. The big will screen for the Nana. She can use her level 4 steal dive to just go right through the screens. Kind of counters the Nana completely because she can't really get an open shot off. And yeah, she's just great on defense. Steal dive also lets her kind of play in between the point guard and the scorer, so she can kind of play help defense on the scorer, and then if they pass to the point guard, she can kind of steal dive over there to make sure that they can't get an open shot off. She's just great on defense, but her offense is not that great. She's a pretty slow shooter. She does have that fadeaway mid-range shot, but it's pretty inconsistent. I would only really use that if you're running out of time and you just need to chuck a shot, because it can be hard to defend if they're not right up on you. But yeah, she's a slow shooter, so I wouldn't recommend playing her with any inside scorers. She doesn't have great shooting stats, but her defense definitely makes up for that, so you should play her with maybe ISO characters like Greta, Camille, Julian, anyone like that. Next up we have Jackie. I put him at A rank. He is the newest point guard in the game, and already you barely see him being used, and I think that's mainly because he doesn't have pinpoint, and he kind of has low dribble, so he gets the ball stolen a lot, and he kind of needs the ball in his hands a lot in order to score. I think he's actually pretty good. He has a few things in his bag that make him pretty solid. He actually is really good at defense. Him and Bo both have this ankle breaker move that allows them to quickly recover if they're crossed. And he has this enhanced disturbance, which allows him to make more shots that are contested, and it also makes it so that whoever he's guarding has higher disturbance when he contests a shot. And his fadeaway 3 is actually really good, but I see a lot of people missing that. I kind of run a full 3-point build on him, and once you kind of master how to use his fadeaway shots, he can be pretty deadly from 3. Knowing how to use that, I actually find it, you can get a lot of fadeaway 3s off, that it's actually easier than shooting drift shots with Nana. But it's kind of, it's hard to get that down. It's a little risky. You have to dribble a lot with him and play the pick and roll, and you'll see a lot of times most jackies will either get knocked down from dribbling or throw the ball away because they don't have pinpoint pass, or they'll just chuck up a fadeaway shot and miss because they do it from too far, and he can just get the ball stolen. So he has a lot of flaws. If you learn how to use him right and space the floor right, he can be pretty deadly from 3. I still think he's very viable. He's good with inside scorers. They can do whatever they want in the paint. He definitely needs to be double teamed on a pick and roll. So you can kind of play him like a Nana, but he's definitely more prone to turn the ball over, and that's why he's lower on the tier list. Next up, we have Justin. Justin, I'm putting at A rank. He's another character you don't really see that much in today's meta. I think he's solid. On paper, he seems like he should be the best point guard because he's got a lot of offensive abilities and he has the intercept for defense. But I just feel like he kind of struggles to be amazing at both. So a lot of the times, when you're picking a type of build on your gear, you kind of have to pick between stealing or offense. I use kind of a more offensive build on him. With a little bit of steal. I'll play him again with inside scorers. I wouldn't really play him with ISO scorers that much. He's like Jackie, where he requires the ball a lot. He has to do a lot of dribble moves. I find that a lot of point guards kind of struggle to guard him because he does have just a quick shot and he has the behind the back shot. But you kind of need to break ankles to be a lot more consistent. Just shooting a behind the back shot or pulling up, a lot of point guards can block that, or if there's any help D, they'll block that or they'll just miss. He doesn't have a pinpoint. He does have a shot pass, which you can use instead of a pinpoint to pass it far away. It can be intercepted and it's a lot slower, but it does work. His intercept is okay. I kind of struggle to get full intercepts like Nico. I kind of just knock the ball down a lot. And his height and speed, he's short, he's very slow. I find it kind of hard to get all the dives with him. There's some, if I'm playing Nana, it's way easier to get the dives, but if I'm playing Justin, it's a lot, my positioning has to be a lot better in order to win all those dives. But I still think he's a solid pick if you're playing against, characters like Sarah or maybe Conan. You can switch with the scorer on defense and you can just kind of swipe on them while the big tries to block them so that they don't have a lot of chance to shoot. I think he's a solid option there, but overall his flaws with just dribbling, and he's not the best 3-point shooter. He just has to break ankles to really get open and everything. It kind of holds him back a little bit. Next up, we have May. May is definitely the worst point guard in the game. She's pretty slow. She has okay passing abilities, like the layup pass and the level 4 pinpoint, which both give decent boosts in accuracy. But other than that, she really can't do anything to really help assist. I don't think her level 4 pin pass boost is good enough to really justify picking her. She does have an enhanced dribble move, but it's really not that noticeable. especially for playing against like a Nico or Boa. You'll still get the ball stolen after 1 or 2 swipes. I don't really notice it that much when playing against stealing point guards. She does have like decent steal, but again, it's lower than Justin or Nico or anyone that's a stealing point guard. And her shooting is slow, so she's not really that great of an offensive character. She just kind of passes the ball around. So, you can do some tricky stuff with her layup. Like sometimes you can just go in, lay the ball up, or just do a layup pass to your big and have him dunk. But overall, it's probably more useful to pick a different point guard. If they're playing an ISO character and you just need a pass, sure, she's an okay pick. But even then, I feel like maybe Boa or Nico or Yui or Nana, they would all definitely be a better pick than her. So, they need to do something with her. I hope they kind of increase her enhanced dribbling, because that could kind of make her decent against stealing point guards. But other than that, I don't know. She is not very good in today's meta. Nothing really sets her apart to make her a decent or justify picking her. So yeah, she's definitely struggling. Would not recommend even picking this character up. Her assist isn't really that good. Just overall, definitely the worst point guard. Still only a B rank. She's not like terrible, but just all the other point guards would definitely help your team a lot more than May. Next we have Nana, and Nana is definitely the best point guard in the game. You can kind of run her with whatever you want. She works well with ISO scorers. She works well with playing pick and roll. There's some teams where they even just run her as the main scorer. Like, she is just so much better than any of the other point guards. She's fast. She has pinpoint. She has the drift 3. You can just stand back, pass to someone, let them shoot, maybe get a 3 off in transition, or you can play with like a Nat, play pick and roll, get 3s off. Like, it's not uncommon to see her score more points than the scorer. Some teams absolutely need her in order to win. If you take it from them, they can't run the strategy they want to run. She just kind of makes everything easier on your team. She wins most of the dives because she's faster than most of the point guards. Very few times would I even recommend picking someone else over them, and even then, Nana is still a solid choice to pick up. But yeah, she's definitely the best point guard. If you're trying to play point guard, definitely pick Nana up first. She's definitely the best point guard assist, best everything. The only one that really even counters Nana that much is Boa, because she can kind of just make sure she can't get an open shot off. But man, she is definitely just better than any other point guard. Next up, we have Nico. Nico is probably the next best or equal to defensive point guard to Boa. I'm going to put her at S rank. Nico is, or intercept, steal is just amazing. It can change the tide of the game. A really good Nico player can make it impossible for teams to pass between each other. I've seen games where players like ZZZ have gotten like 4 or 5 intercepts when they get really good at reading the passing lanes and everything. She only really struggles with her offense. She does have a really quick shot, which is nice, but I feel like her 3-point shooting is kind of inconsistent. She's kind of like 50-50 from 3. It's not the worst, it's not the best. I wouldn't recommend running her as like an offensive point guard. She can still hit open shots, but just not as consistently as like Jackie, Justin, Albert, or Nana. So I wouldn't really recommend running her with the pick and roll. I think she's really good against teams where they are planning on just passing a lot. Not teams that are playing pick and roll with the point guard. I think Boa would be better, but teams that are just kind of passing, using pass-back strategy back and forth between the big. Nico can kind of sneak in there and get the steal. Like if you see a team running, I don't know, like Nana, Greta, or something like that, where there's no big inside presence threat, where they're just trying to get the inside score to score the ball. As long as there's no inside score, I'm definitely taking Nico if Nana is not available. Her intercept is just too good. It's really good. Definitely run her with ISO scorers like Camille or Greta. She is okay off the pick and roll, but again, she's too inconsistent to really be that big of a threat. She does have a fast shot. Her mid-range is actually pretty nice. Sometimes you can just pull up right in their face and they don't even react. She is a little bit shorter. I noticed that if you have to switch on defense, she kind of struggles to block the shots. But other than that, I definitely think she's one of the best point guards in the game. Next up, we have White. I'm going to put him at A rank. White is probably the most unique point guard that's in the game. He kind of plays like that anime show, Kuroko. He's got that flash pass. He's got the steal intercept. But it really only works with a few scorers. People like Camille or Greta or Julian, it can actually be really, really hard to defend them if they're using a White. Just constantly dashing or pump faking, passing, flash passing. It's really hard to defend. It can be pretty unpredictable. And if you have a big playing help D, he can just flash alley-oop to the big. So it just really makes the offense scoring a lot easier. However, he's a pretty bad shooter himself. So it's kind of hard to score with him. I run like a full 3-point build on him, so that way if the point guard is just starting to double up on the score, I can hit wide open shots. Every now and then I'll still miss a wide open, but he's definitely not someone to play the pick and roll strategy with. He's definitely someone just to help out ISO scorer. Just flash passing, pump faking, just kind of speeds up the offense. Every now and then when the big plays up, just alley-oop. He only really struggles with when other teams are playing pick and roll, he's just so slow and his height is so short that he kind of struggles to really contest shots. Like I said, he's slow, so his dive isn't amazing, and he's short. So his defense isn't great. He has that intercept, but I just don't see it trigger that much. It kind of is 50-50. I've had a game where it's triggered twice in a row, and then I've had it where it hasn't even triggered for 2 or 3 games in a row. It's just too inconsistent, even with a full steal build. But with certain characters, he's definitely a game changer. There's some games where they just can't even keep up. They don't know what to do with the White. But your team definitely needs to utilize him. He's a team player. If your team doesn't take advantage of the White, there's no use in even picking him. They don't know how to play with him. So I'm just going to put him at A rank. He could definitely be just as useful as some of the higher ranked point guards. It's just that he definitely takes skill to use, and it takes cooperation with your team. Definitely not a bad pick, but if you're a new player trying to pick a point guard, I would definitely pick one of the higher ranked players, point guards, than him. He's definitely a later pick for a point guard. Last, we have Yui. Yui is one of the best point guards in the game. You see her sometimes. You don't see her get picked as much as she used to. I'm not sure why, because I still think she is just a great assisting point guard, and she has good shooting stats, and she actually has the best dive in the game. She's the fastest point guard. She's just amazing. With shooters like Fire King or Mary or David, she's definitely a better point guard option than Nana. Fire King can kind of struggle to get open threes on his own. He shoots a lot of contesteds, but if you just play pick and roll with the Yui and do those alley threes, it's just it's one of the best teams that you can really run for 3-point shooting. She's still even really good with Camille or Greta. Camille can kind of just dash behind the three, shoot an alley three. It's really hard to stop. Greta kind of struggles to get threes on her own because she's not super fast. So you can do the same thing with her, and she's a decent 3-point shooter. I've actually had some games where I've gotten 3 or 4 threes off doing alley threes with Greta. And just any shooting guard she's great with. She's not the best choice with inside scorers or dunkers because she can't really use her alley 3. She does have good shooting stats, so you can kind of play pick and roll with her. I would definitely recommend using someone like Nana or Albert or even Boa if you're running with like a dunker. But she's still viable because she has like a really good dive. Just not as useful. Definitely best with any of the shooters. But yeah, I would even say she might even be like the second best point guard. She's definitely right up there. But yeah, all these point guards are definitely viable. I'll just go over who I think are some of the best scorers or lineups that you could run with. And then if you like this, just let me know and I'll make another tier list for scorers and bigs. So yeah, with Nana, I pretty much just put all scoring types. I consider Sarah and Howie to be more scorers than bigs. But I just kind of put in everyone I think she runs really well with. Obviously, she runs best with characters that have some sort of inside presence. Butterball is here because he can use his little pick and roll to help get her open. She runs amazing with these lineups. It kind of makes or breaks the team if she's on there. These guys, she's still a great with. She's not really going to see that much action with the ball. Probably not going to get that many threes, but definitely still a great option to have. These defensive power forwards, I just put them in there just because typically I don't even really run these guys with a point guard. Kind of run them with the diving, like shooting guard or something. But I see some teams kind of like run that, and they might get a couple wins if they're playing against a big that's not good at blocking. So she's definitely makes or breaks that team if they're running this type of strategy, like a ranger with a rebounder and a Nana. She's definitely required. I don't think that team is great, but she definitely works solid with them. Albert, you're pretty much going to see like the same type of players that he works really well with, and the players that he's still solid with, maybe not the best. Definitely all similar to Nana, just spacing the floor, shooting threes, letting them do their inside type of scoring stuff. Pretty much the same lineup as Nana. He's a good offensive point guard. You're kind of running the same strats with Nana as you would with Albert, so it kind of just makes sense that the list would be pretty similar. He's all right with shooters. You can still kind of space the floor. He's pretty much only going to be passing, maybe cheesing the floater with some of these shooters a little bit. But definitely run him with an inside scorer. That's definitely his best. Definitely where he shines the most. Just to get this out of the way, Justin, Jackie, same as the other two. These are pretty much the lineups you're going to want to run them with. Just inside scorers, playing pick and roll. Just the same as Nana and Albert. Sometimes you might like Jackie or Justin more than picking Albert. All of them run the best with Nana. But just running the same type of lineup, inside scorer or some sort of inside presence, works okay with these guys. I really wouldn't recommend using them with a lot of these shooters, but if you just want a second scoring option, sure, that's definitely like a solid choice. So with Yui, these are definitely the best characters to run Yui with. Jackie, you can run her with. I kind of put him up here to substitute for Dora because I didn't have Dora on the available tier list. But Dora is actually really, really good with the Yui Alley 3 because she's an okay 3-point shooter with 3-point gear, but with that Alley 3, she's just so much better. Her sprint kind of makes her open. But yeah, all these players just kind of with the pick and roll or Butterball with the screen dash, they can just kind of get open for 3, and just that quick Alley 3 enhances their 3-point shooting. Conan, you can just do the Alley 3 and then kind of like dribble in, do the dunk or hit the shot. kind of just expands his scoring options. Maggie is actually probably like one of the best characters with the Alley 3 because she has pretty high 3-point shooting if you put a 3-point build on her. I kind of find it hard to score with her against good players, but in a case you don't have Fire King or Mary as an option, she's definitely not a bad third option for the Alley 3. Same with Susan, Marcus, Camille, and Greta. All these shooters are just really good off the Alley 3. White, I feel like he's pretty much only viable with these 5 characters. Marcus, if you flash pass, you can immediately dribble again. Camille can just kind of dash, pump fake, or flash shot right off the flash dribble. Greta is similar. She can just pump fake pass, flash pass back, can drift shot, normal shot, flash shot, or just pump fake. Works really well with them. Julian, he can kind of do the hop step, pass, flash pass, hop step. It's really hard to kind of know when they're actually going to shoot. Really easy to get them to jump. Same with Martin using his jab step. Off the flash pass, it can be really deadly, really easy to break people's ankles. The only reason why I put these characters below in B is because they can kind of do a little bit with him. They can pump fake, whatever. I honestly should have just put them at C. It's just an option. I think they're not great, but it's okay with them, I guess. Conan, you can just immediately start dribbling. Mary and Maggie kind of flash shot or drift shot off of it. Same with Butterball and his pump fake things. David, Havoc G, you can kind of do the quick shot cheese with him. But other than that, anybody else, I don't know. I don't think he's really that great with. Pretty much, I would only really recommend running these 5 characters with him. He really can complement those 5. But other than that, I really would not pick him as point guard. Now, Boa, I think, is great with pretty much all of these ISO-like scorers. You can kind of run, Martin or Julian pretty ISO. Same with Conan. All these characters. The reason why I moved a lot of the power forwards up here is because her defense. Sometimes if you're playing against a fast character, say you're playing Uncle Kevin against a Marcus or something, he can struggle to keep up with her, and a lot of the other point guards, if they were to switch or go and help their man, the point guard gets left open to shoot a 3. But with Boa, you can kind of just screen dash over there, help a little bit on defense so that the power forward doesn't get killed, and still scoot back over. So that's pretty much the only reason why I put the power forwards over there. But other than that, definitely ISO scorers. I guess all these other scorers kind of need. I don't think she's great with. I don't think she's great with shooting guards. Besides, really just Marcus and David, who have much better ISO game. So I think these shooting guards, just David, Conan, and Marcus, are pretty much the only shooting guards I would really run Boa with. The other ones kind of need somebody like Yui, or somebody that's more offensive to really run with. And finally, May. I don't think she just really complements anyone amazingly. She's okay with all of these scores, just okay. Terrible with inside SFs or these guys, just no offensive threat whatsoever. She has the pinpoint pass to kind of level 4 to assist in shooting and whatever, and the layup pass. Maybe if you get the big to jump. But other than that, she's okay with everyone. She just doesn't really boost anyone enough to really justify picking her. But yeah, she's an okay pick. I don't think she's you're not gonna lose. You can win a game having May on your team, but if you have an option to pick a different point guard most of the time, like a Boa or Nico, she would definitely be a better option than May. But yeah, I think that does it for the tier list. If you like this, just let me know, and next I can do scores or bigs. So thank you.